Now, rhinos, giraffe, cheetahs and other endangered species are facing a new threat at Zimbabwe's Hwange National Park. Chinese mining companies Zhongqing Coal Mining Group and Afroshine Smelting have received permission from the government to begin environmental impact assessments for drilling, land clearance, road building and geological surveys to proposed sites inside the park. Now, Hwange National Park is home to almost 10% of Africa's remaining wild elephants. To talk a little bit more about this threat, I spoke a little bit earlier in the day to Zimbabwe's Information Secretary, Nick Mangwana. Mr. Mangwana, thanks very much indeed for joining us. There have been some concerns raised by environmentalists about mining that might start taking place at the Hwange National Park. What is government's position on this prospect?
There is no mining that's going to start taking place at Hwange National Park. But what's happening is explorative work that's being carried out by the Zimbabwe Mining Development Corporation, ZMDC, in partnership with its Chinese partner. Let's talk a little bit more about what I mean by that. Every country needs to know what's under its belly. So Zimbabwe needs to know what minerals are in the national park or elsewhere. And that's exactly what's happening. So they're drilling 4 holes in which they will extract some samples and check what's there. That's the work.
All right, but why would you even want to look underneath the Hwange National Park, given that it already has...
Oh, Peter.
Yes.
Peter, we want to know. We want to know the raw mineral map of this country. We want to know what's where everywhere in this country. We want to know what's under the Kariba. We want to know what's under the Victoria Falls. And we want to know what's in any part of this country. That's how you plan. That's how you develop a country. Once you know, then you decide on what to do, how to plan. But as it is, 26% of Zimbabwe is already allocated to animals, to wild animals, and we're looking after them. And Zimbabwe is actually, I believe, in the top 3 of the best conservation leading country in the world, well, in Africa rather. So we are rated very highly, and we won't change that. So there's nothing to worry about, Peter.
All right, but exploration costs money. So there's, we find it difficult that a company would just go drill holes, look underneath, without any expectation for mining downstream.
Well, listen, the mining that's doing that is a government. So the mine that's doing it is a government mine. It's a government corporation that's leading. Obviously, for expertise and everything, it's partnering with some Chinese. But like anything, every research that's being done at university costs money. So every investigation that's being done costs money. Every feasibility study that's being done costs money. But what you do with that is what has to be decided. It may be that people may decide to move animals to another place. It may be that people decide to leave it as it is. But I think we're jumping the guns here. We just want to know what's in our country. And in this particular case, this has been done with the consent of the 2 major parties involved. That is the Environmental Management Agency, EMA, as well as Zimpacs themselves. They were the ones with the responsibility for the parks. They have given the permission for the exploration work. Conditions have been set. So there is really nothing to worry about, because there is no mining that's being done. But there is exploration work that's been done, which is basically investigating, Peter.
All right. Is there a possibility, let's say there's huge coal reserves that are found underneath Hwange National Park, that at some time in the future, there may be mining that could take place, which would be an ecological disaster, environmentalists say?
I take your point. I think let's cross that bridge when we come to it, when it comes to what will happen in the future. But like I said, Zimbabwe doesn't plan its country or the development of its country in a one-dimensional way. There is nothing we've got conservancies in other places, including Gonarejo, which borders Kruger, among its other places. I think the people, the experts that we have here and the international experts that we work in partnership with may decide to move animals to a certain area or whatever, depending on what they find out. But again, I'm jumping guns here. We are not in that place yet. When the moment comes, if it comes, then let's revisit the subject. Let's revisit the conversation at that point.
All right. I believe that the Zimbabwe Environmental Lawyers Association is taking government to court. Is this premature then?
Well, look, when it comes to legal remedies, there's nothing premature about anything. That's for the judge to decide. And that's for anyone who is opposing the application to also the AG and whoever else is being sued to or is representing governments to contest. I wouldn't want to prejudge that. I'm very consistent, Peter. When I say a case it may be subject to case, I move with that same narrative because it's the principle. In this particular case, obviously, I don't believe the application has been made. But I'm simply saying, if people feel aggrieved, the courts are there and it is within their rights, and I respect that. And as government, we do respect that. Somebody else has to come to a judgment.
All right, so final word, no mining is taking place, none is planned in the immediate future. All that this is a fact-finding mission.
That is the correct position, Peter. Thank you so much for having me.